Hi Nicole. All right, so here's your past life spread. So what we're going to do is go through where you were, what you did with the majority of your time, an important day with the relationship and feelings involved, another important day with relationship, feelings, and then we'll get to the death card and the lesson and get hints of time throughout. So all I'm going to do is relay to you the images and impressions that are coming through, and your job is going to be to try to make connections where you can, based off of what comes through here and your current life, and I'll try to help however I can. Just keep in mind that there are a couple of ways you can make connections, right? So direct connections are going to be the information that comes directly from this life, and opposite connections are going to be what you did not. So if you experience something in this life, it's in your current life would be opposite, just because the soul has experienced it already and might want to do the other thing, so to speak. You'll see. I'll help along the way. Okay, so what I like to do is start with where we are going. Now this card is the Americas card, and immediately what I felt drawn to was something ancient, something with the pyramid. That's all I could focus on in this card. And this society that you're a part of, there is something that the society is really known for as far as resources. It's a very resourceful society, so it's very lucrative and thriving. And I want to say advanced for the time. So it's much like, honestly, it felt like how we would consider, like how we hear how ancient Egypt was advanced for its time, with technology or whatever back then. This feels very similar to that Egyptian energy. So I almost want to say that you may connect with Egypt or ancient Egypt or the spiritual Egypt, so to speak, whenever you see TV shows or you read about it or whatever you come across that might be like that whole like ancient Egyptian mystery thing. You might be very pulled to that. If you feel very pulled to that, that would be a connection, even though here we're in the Americas and it feels like, this feels like South America, but it feels like a strong connection. It feels like a strong connection again to Egypt, because it feels like the pyramid we're looking at, there is something about the pyramids being aligned, and there's something about the connection of the pyramids. If you've ever been drawn to pyramids or the history of the pyramids or the mystery of the pyramids, it would be because you're very connected to it, because this life revolves around that pyramid, not just the civilization where the pyramid is, or almost like it's almost like the civilization is the ward of or taking on the pyramid like a ward, if that makes sense. Like they're the guardian, there you go. So it feels like the pyramid is like almost like something to be cared for, cherished, watched over, just looked out after, so to speak, looked after, because it feels like we're coming at a time when it's not that the pyramid is being built, it has been built, but it's where there are still people alive of the generation we're looking at that remembers, or at least has the story. I think that like where the elders there, when they were children, were there when the pyramid was either just being completed or their parents or like their next generation after them were. So it's not too far removed. Whereas, now we're like, oh wow, that was so long ago they built a pyramid. But for this, you're part of the continuation, the next generation just beyond the pyramid. So it holds a lot of sacredness still. Like it's fresh, it's exciting and new, and it's still like, oh, this wasn't too long ago. This was just a couple generations ago. So that is, I feel like, a very strong pull about the aspect we're looking at there. I feel like this aspect we're looking at is male. I feel like it has a masculine energy. However, there's something, what do I say, like tuned into the feminine energy, so to speak. I guess what I'm saying is this is a male energy, but it's not like there's nothing like beefy and like manly. It's more like this aspect of you is kind of balanced, but he's a male. Yeah? Okay, so connections to that also could be if you are intrigued by the mysteries of the past, if you are drawn to your ancestry, if that's important to you at all, where you it's not just the ancestry, but like if you have grandparents or great-grandparents or ancestors that you know of that worked with magic in any way, I'm just gonna put it that way. They worked with magic or like healing, there you go. If like healing or something where it comes to that kind of stuff, I feel like that would be a connection. And if not, if you don't make a connection with what I'm saying, that's totally fine. Make sure whatever I say resonates with you first, and whatever doesn't, just tuck in the back of your head for later use, because sometimes it pops up later. So just keep that in mind. Let's keep going. So also a connection you might have if you've ever been drawn to, I want to say like the Mayan thing, but it's gonna be South American, like those one of those big like enlightened tribes that we hear about from ancient times. I feel like that's what we're looking at. So the pyramid I'm seeing that they're showing me is like a step pyramid kind of thing, but it's really big and tall, and that's what it feels like. But I don't know all of the tribes down there with all of this. So the one that comes to mind that they're bringing is Mayan, because it's either Mayan or it might be something similar or close to that kind of culture or that time period or whatever. So what am I saying? Go ahead and Google, I guess, and see, like, look at the Mayan stuff. If you've ever been drawn to it, or if you've never even looked at it, go look at the pictures, see if you're triggered in an emotional way, like there's a connection there, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind, keep making connections there. Also, the masculine energy or the male aspect here, you want to keep in mind, because in your current life, for example, we'll go with an opposite connection here just to show you what I mean. You might be a very feminine, girly woman, in this life. Like that, you might really be tapped into that feminine energy, very girly kind of thing, simply because we're looking at a male life. But that's not necessarily so, right? So you also want to just keep in mind, hey, if I was a man here, and that can be coming up to describe why you might feel like you have masculine traits. Like maybe you were a tomboy when you grew up. Maybe there's something about you that you consider masculine in that way, or you have a masculine energy about you. Assertive kind of thing. So there's that. And then the idea that we talked about, the balance of energies. So it's almost like in your current life, are you feeling off balance? Are you feeling like you're trying to get a foothold in who you are? Have you gone through a transition or going through a transition where you feel just a little bit uncertain? You're like, okay, what am I settling into this new mindset, this new body, this new, something like that. That's another reason why this could be coming up, and that would be a message simply for you to just ride through any like uncertainty when it comes to a transition or the unknown feelings, or a lot of people want it to be over with and settled already into their new phase, but just be patient with that and just ride it out. So that might be coming up for that reason. And also I feel like there is something about the pyramids coming up having to do with something like having to do with one of your purposes here on Earth, something about reconnection, bringing back old lost art, bringing back, taking something old and making it new, taking something like outdated and making it more, giving it like a contemporary twist. I mean, what comes to mind is like taking how people will like take a barn and turn it into a food, what's it called, a farm to food restaurant, like something like that, like taking something that no one's using anymore, that's abandoned or whatever. This can also be like upcycling, if you're into upcycling, like taking old jewelry or clothes or whatever and redoing them to make them more contemporary or usable today, something like that, along the lines of basically, again, bringing something back from the dead, I guess. I mean, it can simply be that you like writing letters still and sending letters, versus texting or that kind of thing. Or maybe it can even be the kind of thing where you wish that could happen. You wish certain things would still be tradition or like normal for people to do, like writing letters, like that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. We're gonna go to the next card here. So this card is the Guardian and Protector card, and this is the overall feel of the whole society, quite frankly. It feels again like this pyramid is being protected, it's being guarded. I don't feel like there's something violent about it. It just feels like there's something secretive about it and something precious about it or valuable about it. And the protector guardian card is because I feel like you are directly involved in the pyramid's activities. I don't know what that means, but that's what it feels like. So what I guess let's go a little further with that. It feels like you are involved in the pyramid in that you have access to the insides of the pyramid or any secret passageways or whatever it might be that other people might not even know about in the society. I mean, or they might know or have a feeling that there's something going on inside of it for some reason, but not everyone goes in, because it's not their duty or task, or so everyone in this, it feels like everyone in this tribe or society is of service to each other in some way, and everyone knows their place, right? And it's not like a jealousy kind of thing, like, oh, I want to go in the pyramid, how come he gets to? Not like that. So it feels like you have a task that your task is to be, feels like you're in the pyramid a lot. I don't know what's going on in there, and I almost want to say I don't know what's going on in there because they are blocking me because they want to show me just how secretive it is. That kind of thing, because it feels also like the energy of it is still there and it's almost like dormant waiting to be activated, if that makes sense. So pardon me if it's getting too woo-woo or whatever, but that's where it's going, so bear with me. But it does feel like we're looking at a mystery, a pyramid. There's something. I'm just gonna sit for a second because they're giving me an image of walking through a passageway, and I'm just gonna follow it and see where we go. So we're going through a passageway, there's torches lit. It's time of torch, there's no electricity. We're going through. It feels like you're wearing a special, so your aspect here is wearing a specific garb to go into the pyramid to do the work. It's a garb that it's like, it covers more than what the average person wears in the society on a daily basis. It's almost like a robe. There is something about this. There's something about the robe because it's heavy. It's heavy, it feels weighted. It feels weighted because it's thick. So it's thick for a reason. It's blocking something out. I almost get the feeling like this person is wearing a robe that was designed to keep a certain energy wave from penetrating the body. Go ahead, and if you can, go ahead and Google anything like this. See if you can dig and find. It might not be like searchable because it feels so secret. Okay, so it's almost like, I want to say this is a connection because they don't show me anything that relevant. So it's a connection, a weighted robe to protect. So if you, okay, this might be a really weird random connection, but if you have anxiety in your life, if you have anxiety, it's almost like I want to tell you that their message is to get a weighted blanket or to get into a place where you're surrounded by something that is that compresses you or weighs you down. And this might not just be anxiety, it might be if there is something you do, like a certain mental state you go into, or if there is a certain bouts you go through, it could be like depression, or it could be manic, it could be, I don't know. It could just be sad. You could just be grieving. So if that's the case, it almost feels like a message like to get a weighted blanket or have the impact of a weighted blanket ready to go when you are feeling anxious or something like that. When you need to feel comforted, there you go. So when you're feeling like you need comfort or you need a hug or you need even like to feel like loved in a way, but you don't have anything right there and your mind isn't helping you, it's like a weighted blanket would help. It's the weight about it. It's like the compression, it's like a hug around you. So I feel like that is what's coming through as far as this robe goes. He's going into a room in the pyramid. There's a room he works in. And there's definitely something in the room that has a high energy, and it feels like we are looking, okay, bear with me, it feels like we're looking at like an alien technology in the sense of almost like we're looking at a stone or rock or fragment of something that is not of Earth. And this is not like a stone tablet with writing kind of thing. It feels more like it has a glassy surface to it, and it feels like it's an emerald greenish kind of thing. And so, by the way, if you are drawn to emerald green or darker green or something, a green, just that would be a connection, because there's something about this green that holds a lot of energy. In fact, I want to say that if you do any energy work at all, or if you meditate or whatever, you might do well to surround yourself in a green color, or to utilize green energy in your daily life or in a healing or whatever you are working on. I feel like it's very important, because you're connecting with the stone in some way, and there's something about it being healing and communicative, connection. There's connection. It's almost like if you in your current life, if you are seeking connection, and I mean, of course, that can mean so much. I want to say you will feel connected when you start to surround yourself in a green, glowing green energy of light. Does that make sense? So if you visualize yourself glowing in a green light and absorbing the green light, it will make you feel more connected. I feel like almost to the earth, but connected to yourself. That kind of thing, almost like focusing on your heart center, where I guess the heart is considered, the chakra is green too. So there's something about it. If you feel disconnected in any way, go into your green light. That's the message. Keep that in mind, okay? But that's why you're getting the Guardian card, because I feel like you are either the sole person or one of very few that is allowed to view this, I guess, stone, crystal or device that has alien technology coded in it. Which also means that you likely have a connection to, like an ET connection. So if you've ever been interested in ET stuff, great. If not, totally fine. But go ahead and why not look up the word starseed and see what that does for you, see if it resonates with you in any way. And if not, that's fine, but that's what's coming through. So let's go ahead and go to the first important day. So this is the Conquered, They Have Come, and Welcome card. So it means that there's like usually newcomers coming in and either wanting to take over or join the family, or someone's there that's new, you never known before, kind of thing. So the relationship involved is the family card, and this is the feelings card, which is both like, it's a dual card. So it can be like where it's chaotic, or it's smooth, like smooth sailing kind of thing, but it can also be incorporated as both, where, oh, it might be rocky then smooth, and that's what we're going with here, because it feels like when it says newcomers, what it feels like is this is explaining, it's almost like a backstory to what we're talking about here. And I don't know why they want to give this to you today. I mean, maybe, I hope you're resonating with this in some way. I've never gotten something like this. So with this, it's talking about the link to the ETs with this alien technology that we're talking about in the pyramid. And it feels like, so it's almost like, it's not the backstory. Nope. It's how you feel about the connection. Okay, whew, thanks. Okay, it's like, because there is a whole backstory that just popped up about the alien, how the alien technology got there, and the ones that brought it to you. So you obviously you didn't meet them, but you're connected with them because you were selected to take over the mission of guarding that piece of technology, right? So in here, it is talking about, it feels like it's talking about how you view the connection. And it feels like the welcome area, it's like it's incorporating the family, okay? So this is a welcome family. It feels like a family tie. It feels like the people at this time believe and trust in the facts or truth that they are the family connection to the ones that brought the ET or alien technology to them to be housed in the pyramid under their protection. Does that make sense? Okay, so I feel like there is just like a big, like, cosmic connection for you here. Hopefully this is helping with something for you. So, okay, family. Okay, so there is a message in this, almost like, don't be afraid to see people as family who aren't your blood family, or make sure that you are incorporating people of your tribe, like people that you love dearly and love you dearly. Make sure that you are open to considering them family, even more than your blood family, if you feel that connection. Yeah, it's almost like a message of be open to being inclusive of people that you might look upon firstly as alien to you. Yes. So it's almost like I want to say too, the feeling of there's going to be a connection being made, if not already, with someone that you never would have considered to be so in tune with you, who is. Does that make sense? So keep that in mind, keep, you know, and just stay open and keep your eyes open and your heart open. Because it feels like, again, it might be how they look. They might not be who you think they should look like in order to make you feel how you feel about them. Does that make sense? So it could be how they look, it could be how they sound, it could be where they're from, it could be their background, like just things that you usually might not consider someone that would be close to you, and then just give them a chance and you'll just click. Does that make sense? So the feelings involved here is the rocky start to the smooth, and that's describing the, first of all, the unknown feeling of this like if some, you know, people coming into your life that you might not expect to be so important to you, it might start off like uncertain, and of course, I mean, I guess that's with every friend, but with this, again, because it's definitely not what you expected, there might be some doubt, you know, because you're human and it's hard just to trust your heart and go for it kind of thing, so that's okay. But just remember this, that when you feel like doubt, or, and I'm not saying don't pay attention to red flags. Always pay attention to red flags, your intuition, all that. But in this case, you know, if you're just feeling doubt just because it's new and it's nothing you've experienced, just kind of ride it out and you'll see it's going to smooth out very quickly and it's all going to fall into place. So keep that in mind. Now, I say a person, but keep in mind too, this is open game here. So this can also be an opportunity that comes knocking at your door that doesn't look like what you might usually want or consider. And then, you know, it doesn't match up with things, or, you know, like that you ever thought would happen kind of thing. And then it will smooth out and click into place if you give it a chance. So keep that in mind. Keep making connections with that first important day here. And we're going to go to the next important day. This is the move, 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 let's go card. So that's usually where there's someone traveling, someone leaving, or fleeing. The relationship is the soul group. And this is the capable card or incapable card of feelings. Like, can we do this? Can we not? Is what it feels like. Can we do this or can we not? So the move, 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 let's go card. I'm trying to see what's going on here, because I don't feel like you're going anywhere, but it feels like people are getting up and moving. And why are they moving? There's something about, it feels like seasonal. It feels like they're, where are they going? It's, okay, it feels almost like there's a weird seasonal flooding that happens, or like a seasonal flooding or a drought. It's either a flooding or a drought. It feels like there's basically something Mother Nature does once in a while, and it's affecting the area so much that for safety, the people have to pack up, or at least the majority have to go ahead and move for at least a while the land becomes replenished or better, or becomes like livable again, habitable. But the thing is, what it feels like is you're not going anywhere because the pyramid is there, and you can't remove that alien technology thing, crystal, from it, because that's its home. And you know that because of where it came from, and because the pyramid is there and it was placed there for a purpose, that you feel safe staying within the pyramid or with the pyramid. So it feels like there are very few left behind. It feels like you stay. It feels like just like a very few people stay in order to sustain the group that remains. Like, you know, you need to like eat and this and that or whatever. You need to be, you know, so basically your job is to protect that precious piece of the community. And like someone else would stay in order to hunt and gather, and someone else would stay in order to maintain the facilities, or you know what I mean, like that kind of thing, like very sparse population left to just kind of upkeep while the rest of them go for safety. That's what it feels like. So this can connect with you in a certain way, like if you let's say it's like there's a big storm coming, a hurricane, tornado, like warnings kind of thing, or where a lot of people pack up and go, like a hurricane. We'll just go with a hurricane. Like where a lot of people will just pack up and get out of the area, you might be someone that likes to ride out the storm. So that can also be metaphorical and coming up in that way for a reason. Like you might be someone that's very good at riding out the storm when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to a hardship, when it comes to a obstacle. You might be very good, again, at just like keeping steady at what you're doing and trusting that trusting yourself to see it through, to keep going, that things will be good on the other end, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If that's not the case, then the message is that. The message is, if you're riding out a storm, there is light at the other end of the tunnel. Just ride it out, that kind of thing. In these people leaving, it's almost like maybe you feel abandoned, maybe you feel lonely or isolated, maybe you feel left behind, that kind of thing, why this might be coming up. But again, this is temporary. That should be your mantra. Whenever you're feeling that way, get the weighted blanket. And when you're feeling anxious or something like that, get your weighted blanket and say, this is only temporary. This is only temporary. And breathe with that. And it's true, because the only consistent thing is change. So you're whatever you're going through, it's temporary. It's not long-term hardship at all. It's almost like this is being shown to you because it will be alleviated sooner than you think. No worries, but stay steady in your tasks, in your mission, in your purpose. Hold true to it, trust that you are walking the right path. And with these people that stay behind to keep the place going, just know that you do have support even when you feel alone. Don't be afraid to reach out. And by that I mean, if you don't like asking people for help, if you need help, allow yourself to call the person that comes to mind that you think would be the best to help you in that situation, and you'll find that people are more than happy to come to your assistance to help you. Faith in humanity is what it is. So keep that in mind. This is your soul group, and we are talking about the soul group in two ways. One is the ones that brought the technology you feel so strongly connected to. That's your soul group. So for them too, you stay behind because this is like your pledge to them, kind of like a loyalty, a loving loyalty. And also the soul group of your tribe, of the people that are kind of leaving, not leaving you chose to stay, that kind of thing, but they're gone. So there's a, worry about them, or the longing to be with community. So in your current life, you might be someone, if you feel isolated, if you feel like you're not part of the community, this would be why. Or you might be someone who needs to be part of the community. You were born in this life to bring community together, that you want community, you yearn for it, you want roots, you want to be part of a society, incorporated, not isolated, right? So make connections where you can with that soul group. The incapable, quite capable card is just everything we just talked about. Is like, it's a lot of uncertainty, like you're staying behind. This is a whole new like lifestyle for you, and it's isolating. And wow, that's really funny. Okay, so it's this with what's going on with the pandemic going on. It's kind of interesting. There's a bit of a parallel. So if you're feeling anything about that, this might be what is actually coming up now, just to help you with that. If that's what this is for, keep that in mind. Try to make that connection as well if that resonates with you. But there is this feeling of like, you can get it done. You're going to be okay. You trust that after all is said and done, this pyramid is still going to stand. The technology is going to be there, and you're going to be the one protecting it, and everything's going to be okay. So you feel capable, but you're human, right? We're human. So you're going to doubt a little bit. You're going to feel lonely. You're going to feel like you made the wrong choice, or you're going to, like you missed being part of the community so much. You're like, oh, well, maybe if I just go, it's going to be fine. But you stay steady and you stay true because you're capable of riding out the storm. So keep that in mind. Now, the death card. So this is let the water take me over. So this is a water card for death, and a lot of times it's drowning. Sometimes it's it's a lot of things. I'm trying to see what's going on here for you. Okay, it's simple. The only thing this means is that you died during the rainy season. So the rainy season, it feels like you got sick and died during the rainy season, but it's not like young sick. It's like you were old and it was just your immune system like down. And again, it feels like there's something about not enough, like this aspect of you is like healthy in the lifetime, but there's something kind of slim about this male aspect where there's not a lot of muscle, and it feels like the muscle could have helped with building a healthier body that would have maybe fought off like the whatever he got during the rainy season, if that makes sense. That could be a message to you to make sure that you are taking care of your body and making sure you are feeding it and giving it nutrients and activity that it needs, and not to put it off, and to really try to be diligent and disciplined at this time. Be a really good time to take up a new routine right now that might build muscle for you, or give you muscle tone, or give you just like, it's just very, I feel like that would be really good for you, but it has to resonate with you. It's just a little bit of a message there. But other than that, we're done with that, but make connections wherever you can. And then the lesson here is boundaries. So I feel like the lesson here was very, very well played out just by how you managed, it's like how you managed your task and mission and purpose. So it's almost like creating, I want to say like healthy, it's not healthy boundaries, it's boundaries. True, there's something about, okay, boundaries, it's boundaries about what you did regarding the secrecy of it, not being able to share with others exactly what it is that you see or do in there, but also maintaining healthy relationships despite the boundary, the respect of the boundary. People, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. Here's the, okay. The message is, sorry about that. The message is to make sure you are surrounding yourself with people who understand when you need to set healthy boundaries, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, verbal, whatever it might be. Make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who not only understand that that there are certain boundaries for you, but also that encourage you to create healthy boundaries. Does that make sense? So I feel like that is where we're going here, because you were able to create the healthy boundaries here with your work, and then maintain healthy relationships outside of the work, despite anyone who might want to kind of like elbow their way in and get some information, because everyone thinks it's really cool. You know, they want to know what's going on. But it's also, you know, they know it's also kind of inappropriate to ask, but it feels like there was a nice like mental discipline of this male aspect. So you might carry over that mental discipline, or this could be a message for you to like, it's time to start the mental discipline needed in order to create the healthy boundaries. This is coming up a lot in my work. I'm meeting a lot of people that need to create healthy boundaries because it's time to do the work that you're here to do. And maybe you're feeling that, maybe you're feeling pulled to do things, and you're feeling activated and alive and interested in things, and that you maybe were interested in before, but now it's time to like actually go after it. And this would be for that, is to make sure that you are giving time to yourself to create routines that are healthier, and also mental discipline in order to create the healthy boundaries that will best serve you and your purpose here. There you go. Okay. So keep making connections with the boundaries card wherever you can. I know we didn't get the time period per se, but we are looking back. What I said before, again, like the ancient Mayans, go look and see when the pyramids were built. Just check out the pyramids in South America. Check out the connection of the pyramids, South America and Egypt. Yeah, so just go ahead and start looking up some stuff, see what you can find. I'd be really interested to hear, and I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're able to make some connections, and thanks for letting me read you.